Hello, welcome to the Global Psychic and Healer channel. I'm Karine, and today I received Ron Schlegel. He's an intuitive counselor. He's an energy healer. He helps you to reach your full potential, healing trauma, and removing energy blockage in your unconscious. Today, Ron gonna share with us at the end of the interview some very powerful tips on how to improve your income in life. Thank you, Ron, to join us tonight. Hello.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yes. So to begin the interview, I would like to know more about how did it start for you?
Yeah, thanks for asking. You know, I guess like a lot of people, I was pretty intuitive at a young age. However, you know, with growing up and going to school and college, I kind of turned a lot of that off just because I was trying to fit in the world. What's interesting is that, you know, I went into being a psychotherapist. I've been a psychotherapist for over 35 years. And in the process of me working with other people, I gained deep understanding of the subconscious mind and how powerful it is. So I committed myself to growing a lot myself and clearing out my own subconscious blocks and limiting beliefs, as well as helping other people do the same. Excuse me. And you know, I've seen people change very fast and very powerfully once they can identify what their subconscious blocks are and their limiting beliefs are. And I've learned a few techniques that are very, very powerful for helping people change those blocks and limiting beliefs. So it's pretty exciting for me to be able to offer that. So as I changed my subconscious beliefs and limiting blocks, I started to open up again intuitively and psychically. And I started doing readings, and I started zeroing in on where the blocks were with people on a subconscious level. And I was able to start helping them clear out those blocks and limiting beliefs using the things I've learned. Plus, I can also do energy work with people and clear it out on an energetic level.
So it's like when someone comes to you, how do you choose which tool you're going to use? Is it like going to be a full package, or are you doing some like just intuitive counseling or some just energy healing, or is it a mix?
That's a very good question. Yeah, I intuitively go with where I'm drawn. Of course, if somebody doesn't particularly want to use a certain technique, then I won't, you know, force them to use that technique. But intuitively, I'll let them know, this is what I'm feeling, this is the direction we should go in, and usually they go along with that.
And how the information are coming to you? Is it like some pictures, you sense what's going on, you have like hearing information? How does that come to you?
Yeah, that's another good question. You know, initially, my information was always coming through feelings, because I'm very much a feeling type person. I just feel the answer. But as time has gone on, I actually hear it too. So yes, I can. I'm not so visual though. I don't tend not to see things as much as feel and hear them.
And when did that happen, the shift that you start to use your intuition in your work? Did you start to have a mix, or did you start to create a separate practice?
Yeah, you know, it was about 3.5 years ago. I learned how to do psych-k. That's one of the modalities that I use for helping people clear out their subconscious beliefs and their traumas. So when I learned psych-k, I was able to use it on myself. I was able to clear out, and I still do every day. I use it, clear out my limiting beliefs and subconscious blocks. So as I started to do that, I started to open up in other ways. So the first thing I was offering people was psych-k, but then I learned also how to do energy healing. And in the process of opening up, that energy healing became very easy for me. It just started to happen. My friends, I practiced on my friends initially, and then, you know, they were giving me feedback and saying, wow, that was very powerful, that was very insight, you know, it was right on. So then I just started using it in my practice. Now, I have a regular full-time job right now that I, you know, Monday through Friday, but then I also have a private practice in the weekends and on evenings. I do a lot of my work over the internet, over Skype, but I also have an office.
Could you tell us a bit more about the psych-k technique? Is it like which part of yourself do you use for that? Which intuitive perception?
You know, what's interesting about psych-k is that it's not about me doing anything on you. It's really about you tapping into your own subconscious. And that's a nice thing that I like about psych-k. Is for those people who are a little bit worried about, you know, this person is sending me energy or whatever, it's not a worry with psych-k, because it is a process that you do with yourself. I just coach you through it. There's a person by the name of Bruce Lipton who is a strong proponent of psych-k. Bruce Lipton wrote a book, The Biology of Belief, and he actually is a cell biologist, and he is able to prove that our biology is driven by our subconscious mind. What we believe and what we think and what we feel has a direct impact on our biology and our behavior. Now, we've all kind of known that. However, he can scientifically prove it. He can even show you that your genes will change based on a change in your beliefs on a subconscious level. So the subconscious mind is very, very, very powerful. So psych-k is very much based in neuroscience. If you think about it, our right hemisphere of our brain controls the left side of the body. The left hemisphere of the brain controls the right side of the body. When we have a trauma or a belief about ourselves, there are certain neurons in our brain that fire the same way over and over again every time. Think about it. When you are eating chocolate ice cream, there's certain neural pathways that are firing in your brain, and they can put electrodes on your brain, and they can show you right where chocolate ice cream is firing in your brain. So the same goes for a trauma or a memory. Those neurons are firing the same way. Well, psych-k is able to help you change the way your neurons fire in your brain around a belief or a trauma and change it altogether. And you actually use body positions. You sit in certain ways in order to help that belief change and the trauma change, as well as some other techniques we use in psych-k. So it's a pretty amazing thing to experience, but anyone can learn how to do it. You don't even have to be a therapist to learn how to do psych-k. Anyone can sign up and learn how to do it, and then you have it for the rest of your life. You can use it on yourself and other people.
That sounds to be a great modality. Is it working as better on some trauma than on other? Because I'm thinking, for example, you were talking about chocolate addiction, and I found my chocolate addiction is very deep. And I was wondering, you know, if like food or trauma, food habit are easy also to change using that?
Yes, it's very powerful for helping people let go of their addictions. That's correct. And it doesn't have to be just specific to trauma. It can be anything in your life that you would like to change. You can figure out what's on a subconscious level that's causing you to behave that way. What I didn't mention is that science is showing that about 95% of our behavior is driven by the subconscious mind. That's a very important piece to the puzzle. We tend to think we're in control of ourselves on a conscious level, but that's not the case. It's the subconscious that's driving our behavior. And if people think about it, they've tried to change some things in themselves for years and haven't been able to do that. And that's because that particular behavior is driven on a subconscious level. I've been a therapist for a long time, as you know, and I was very frustrated because people weren't changing very fast. I knew on some level it was the subconscious that was in the way, but I didn't know how to get at it. So since then, I've learned psych-k, and I've learned some other modalities to help me get at the subconscious level and really make some solid changes, help people make some solid changes in themselves.
Interesting. And how people around you, see this change of perception from you?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
It's like how people see the difference between like maybe a very Cartesian approach, very psychotherapy approach to like a more like energetic approach. How your family and people, your friends around you see that?
Yes. These modalities are very fast and efficient. I have a lot of experience working with people with severe trauma. It's not the only thing I do, but it is one of my specialties. And it's the difference between going to therapy for years and actually clearing something up in a week, one session.
So
and
basically,
that's
when
very
people
significant when you think about that. That's very significant. You can do a lot in a trauma just in one session.
Oh wow, it's like well, it's very encouraging. I guess it's like it's easy to convince people with that powerful tool.
Yes, and usually within the first 30 minutes of how powerful this is. That's how quickly they can realize something's happening inside themselves. In fact, I offer a full money back guarantee to people if they buy a session with me if they're not satisfied within the first 30 minutes.
Oh wow, well that's good. Let's say that you're very confident in your practice. That's good. And I wonder, what is the most enjoyable aspect of this work for you?
Watching people change. I've been a therapist for a long time, and that has been my mission, is to help people work through their issues and traumas. And watching people change so much faster now than before is so rewarding. I used to think about retiring. When am I going to retire? Now I don't want to retire anymore. It's too much fun for me.
That's great. And I wonder, for you, I guess you have seen different like a practitioner. Is there a quality that emerged from those practitioners that you would say, this is the main quality that a healer or a counselor should have, an intuitive psychic should have?
Well, I think that one of the most important things is to get yourself out of the way. Your ego can get caught up in things. For example, if I'm doing a reading, I have to get myself out of the way in order for clarity to come through. Otherwise, my own personality is coming through. So I'm glad that I've kind of learned how to step aside and just allow whatever is going to come out to come out.
Yes, I guess it's like to have during so long all those work on yourself, allow probably to avoid projection on clients.
That's correct. And I always have to watch out for that, because we're all humans. The other thing I want to say is anyone can do these kinds of things. And if, that might be hard for some people to understand, but we all have that potential. The thing is on a subconscious level, though, we may not believe it, and we may have some blocks that are getting in the way.
So do you think it's like with some practice like that, you can that help people also, to develop their own perception?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like, could you find, for example, a person like have a session with you and say like, oh, I've got problem with this perception. Could you look at my blockage? Are you doing these kind of things?
Yes, exactly right. They just have to point me in the right direction, and then I just allow what needs to come through me. Basically, the process I use is that I ask permission first for to connect up with that person on an energetic level. If they give me that permission, then I go ahead and I connect up and I do the reading on the area that they want me to look at. And then if they want, during that process, they want me to clear a block or download a belief, I can do it then during that time period.
Sorry, you say you can download a belief?
Yes.
Means that you can download like, what do you mean, download?
Like, I love myself unconditionally. You know, if somebody didn't feel like they really love themselves unconditionally, we could download that belief statement.
Oh wow, that's great. That's, yeah, that sounds very promising.
Yes. Now, during that process, we might notice that there is some resistance to that belief. So what I would do is I'd look at what areas in that person are resisting that particular belief, and we might have to clear out some energy around that.
All right. And do you feel from your belief system, you know, because I assume your belief system take a big part in your work, that everything is based on that? Or is it like, where all those blockages come from? Is it like just belief, or where do you think they are coming from, those blockages?
Oh, you know, that's a very deep question, and I'm glad you asked it, because we develop our beliefs over time, and it's not just in this lifetime. Those beliefs can be originating from many lifetimes ago. So it's useful to do a reading and take a look at where those beliefs really started. And if you can, the farthest back you can go in understanding where that belief started, the better, so you can clear it out from its original point of origin. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. So it's like you're working also with past life.
Yes. The other thing is that we can pick from other people, and we can pick up beliefs from our society and our community. So energetically, we're in a field of energy. And that field of energy is influencing us. And in turn, we influence it. So it's possible that we pick up beliefs about ourselves from the thoughts that our parents had, that our friends had, that our community has. So it's useful to know where the generation point is from those beliefs.
Okay, so you're doing also transgenerational work.
Yes. You know, it depends on where I'm guided. So if I'm guided to take a look at where that origination point was from someone else, we're just able to clear it so it isn't continuing to impact you.
That sounds great. So it's like you can do all of that through Skype?
Yes, Skype, over the phone. I tend to like doing psych-k over Skype because I can see the person and make sure they're sitting in the positions I need them to sit in. It's still doable over the phone, but it takes a little longer. The energetic work, however, doesn't matter. I don't even have to be live with you. But, you know, it's good to see somebody live or talk to them live and work with them live.
How long does one of your sessions last?
Generally, my sessions are an hour. I have had a few people say to me that energetically they felt so much happened in even just a half hour that they couldn't go the whole hour. But most people last the whole hour. I like to spread the sessions out over a period of a few weeks. You know, if they're going to get more than one session, just because there's time in between where they can integrate the work we did.
And so you say you work with different relationships, so relationship, people with their past, with their belief system. You mentioned also to me offline that you're working also with a relationship with money.
Yes. Well, you know, I also offer on my website downloads that people can purchase. And they fall in a variety of categories, but I'm offering one download for free, and that is healing your relationship with money. Now, what I learned over time is it is possible to clear blocks through this kind of technology without me being present in the moment. Because we are really, all of us, outside of time as well, and outside of place. So in these downloads, I use state-of-the-art technology where while you're listening to this very beautiful music, you're being transcended into a theta brainwave state.
Okay.
And while in that theta brainwave state, I'm energetically clearing your blocks and downloading empowering beliefs. And in this case, related to money. So I encourage your viewers to go ahead, go to my website, ronschlegel.com, and sign up for my free newsletter. And when you do that, you'll be allowed to connect to this free download. It's about 20 minutes long, very powerful, and I'd love to get your feedback. Just tell me what you thought of it.
How did it come to you to create this this tool?
Well, you know, I have actually had the experience of having that happen to me through this kind of a similar process. And because I'm sensitive, I knew it worked. So I figured, well, if they can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wonder if you have other occupation, you know, if you're doing other events than doing just one-to-one session?
I do one-on-one sessions. I offer the free downloads. I also sponsor trainings as well in psych-k. I don't do the trainings, I sponsor them. So I'm actually having a training coming up here this weekend, starting on Friday in psych-k in Elmira, New York, for anybody who might be interested. Learning how to do psych-k is just a wonderful little tool to have in your toolbox for clearing out your subconscious.
Okay, so we have a question from a person. You think it's like you can take a question?
Sure.
So we have Francois who say, I feel stuck with my perception and my job situation. Could you support me to be inspiring, to be inspired?
I'm going to assume that he's given me permission to connect up with him, so let me go ahead and do that. So this is what I'm getting. And was it Francois was the name?
Yes.
Did I get the name right? Francois? Oh, I can't hear you now.
Yes, yes. Is that?
Oh.
I think it's Francois, yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, what I'm getting is that there are some energies that are keeping you from moving forward. And one of those energies is guilt. You have some guilt around feeling like you don't deserve, succeeding in life and getting those good things that you really want to have in life. So I'm assuming that you're going to give me permission to release that block. You can, Francois, you just go ahead and say yes. Good, thank you. And we'll go ahead and clear that. That's not the only thing that's clearing you, though. You've got some energy that's been following you for a while. Not so much in past lifetimes, but in this lifetime. Some energies that have been attached to you that are holding you back. And I'm assuming you'll give me permission to clear that as well. Yeah, there were some, just some dark energies, some negative energies that were holding you back there. Great. That feels a lot better to me now. So I'm going to suggest we do a download of a belief statement, or at least one belief statement that's going to help you move forward now. The first belief statement is, I'm very worthy of being successful. with your permission, I'll download that. Great. All right. I'm feeling that that's going to help you out a lot, and I appreciate your question. So, you know, I hope that you notice some changes in yourself. Feel free to go to my website, ronschlegel.com, and send me an email. Just let me know how things are going in a week or so, what you noticed. So I'm going to disconnect now. All right.
Wow, thank you for him. You know, it's very impressive. You know, I can feel it's like how right the tuning was.
Did you feel the energy yourself, or?
Yeah, because I was stepping into you to see, to step where to feel what was going on, and I could feel the charge. You know, when it was moving, when there was the release, and I was impressed that it was very quick. You know, I see many people working, and I felt how quick the release was. Very impressive.
I was just worried I was going to pronounce his name wrong, so.
Oh, great, you know. And I've got another question myself about your psychic development. If you said that it's about working on your personal things and cleaning a bit, clearing your own stuff. But I wonder if you have other tips about developing perception.
Tips on how you can, I'm sorry, repeat that again?
How you can develop your perception, you know, like...
oh, develop your perception, right. Yeah, you know, I could just talk from my own experience. There's two things I'd recommend. One is to clear out your own subconscious beliefs and limiting beliefs, subconscious blocks, that kind of thing. That's really important because there's a lot in the way energetically usually. And then the other thing is take some training with someone who can teach you those skills, because that's what happened to me. You know, I was taught how to mechanically do what I do now, and I needed those steps to be able to get to where I am now. I was surprised. I went from not being able to do this to doing this in just one training, but I was ready. I had cleared my blocks. I got the training. I was taught the structure, and then it just all came into place.
All right. So when you say mechanically, it's like having someone who give you a bit of structure in your perception?
Yes. You know, we all kind of need a roadmap, you know, of how to do this work, this energy work, right? How to protect ourselves, how to be safe, and how to do it well. And there are a lot of different people out there who are teaching these kinds of things. So, you know, go to the one that you're most drawn to, and you know, use that structure that you're drawn to, but at the same time do your best to clear out your own blocks to that.
So was it your structure? Did you learn your structure with your actual practice with the psyche?
Psych-k was one of the things that I've learned, but I've also learned how to do the energy work through a person by the name of Brent Phillips. And his process is called Awakening Dynamics.
Okay. Okay, I take some note of that. You know, I think that can be useful for some people.
Yes.
Do you have any advice for people who have this, who can have some perception that start to awaken themselves and might be a bit scared or don't know how to control that?
Yes. Again, a lot of that resistance, that fear is coming on a subconscious level. That's not a conscious thing, most likely, because they're ready on a conscious level to learn how to do these things, but they get scared. So the fear is coming from the subconscious level. And that fear may be generated from other lifetimes. A lot of us who are very sensitive and doing this kind of work didn't have very good experiences in other lifetimes when we were doing these kinds of things. So it's nice to energetically clear that trauma and those memories, so that they're not haunting us anymore.
What do you think? I would like your opinion about prediction. You know, what do you feel about like telling the future of people? How do you see future? What is your perception of future?
I'm glad you asked that question. I don't predict futures for people, and this is why I don't. Our future is dependent on the signals that we're sending out to the universe. Those signals are made up of our subconscious beliefs and memories and traumas. So we're very powerful beings. We create our own reality. People don't get that point. We're very powerful beings. We create our own reality. So what kind of reality are you creating? A lot of us are creating realities that are not very positive. And why is that? Because on a subconscious level, we have very limiting beliefs and memories and traumas that are getting in the way of us creating that life that we want to have. So we have to clear out those limiting beliefs and traumas and memories so that we can create things that are better for us. So that's the exciting part about it. So an example, if I did a reading, somebody asked me to do a reading for them, will I get this job that I'm looking for? I've just applied for this job. Will I get that? Well, I say I don't do readings, but I will connect with you and I will take a look at energetically what's going on with you to see what's in the way of you getting the job that you want, or that might be in the way. So then I connect with that person and I say to them, oh, you don't really have a lot of self-confidence that you're going to get this job. You don't believe you're good enough for this job. So we do the energy work for them and clear that out. If I would have not cleared it out, they most likely wouldn't have gotten the job. But after clearing it out, in this one case, which really happened, a week later, they got a job, which is really cool. They didn't get the exact one they were looking for, but they got a job and they were very excited. So that's why I don't do readings or predictions for the future.
So I can hear you taking care really at the present moment to create the potentiality that people want to go
yes,
to.
Yes. It's so exciting, this stuff, isn't it?
Yes, I've got a bit like, yeah, I understand this kind of perspective, you know, to work on what's going on now, because there's just now, so it's better to see what's going on now. So
yes.
Yeah, I've got a question. Yeah, you say you felt very at the early age that you had some predisposition, that you were very sensitive. I would like to know what is your first memory where you could validate that. Oh yes, I've got really perception. You know, where you were really sure that something was happening to you.
Well, you know, when I was a lot younger, I wasn't exactly sure what was happening to me, but this is when I got older, I got clearer that it was really happening. And what I used to do, I was kind of a quiet, shy boy, and I lived in the country, and there was this one tree in the middle of a field all by itself. It was a white pine tree. And so I would climb that white pine tree and I'd sit there, and you know, it was just a very peaceful, calm place to be. And white pine trees happen to have that quality. They have a very calming effect on them. So what I would do was I would talk to the tree, and I felt the tree talk back to me. So those were my first impressions, you know, of wow, this is really cool. But it didn't really accept it until I got older. And I had a very interesting experience when I got a little older. I was in my late 20s. I'm not in my late 20s anymore, by the way. So when I was in my late 20s, I was walking to a grove of white pine trees, a virgin forest of white pine trees in Maine. And it's an absolutely beautiful place. They are these massive white pine trees that takes two people at least to get their arms around. And as I got there to this circle of white pine trees, I went in the middle. All of a sudden, I felt them talking to me very loudly, and they brought back that memory of when I used to talk to the white pine tree in that field many years ago. So that was one of those wonderful moments in my life.
Well, I can feel it, you know, it's very like, meaningful to me, because I felt, the connection with the nature too. And I wonder, like, because as you step on the subject, I'm very interested about the nature energy. Do you still connect with it? Or you still have perception now that it's clearest for you? Do you have perception of communication with the nature?
You know, I can do that. I have to admit it, I'm a little bit embarrassed about this, though. I've been so busy lately, I don't connect up as much as I'd like. Nature is very much just wanting us to connect up and communicate and send our love, especially Mother Earth. And I'm more inclined to communicate with Mother Earth now rather than specific trees or so on. But yes, you're going to get me probably out there this evening and doing just that.
Nice. Yes, now that we, I wonder, it's like if you can share a bit some tips. You said that you like to take care also of protecting yourself, talking about the energy of your body field. I would like to know if you can share some of your practice to take care of your own field or to protect yourself.
Yeah, I do have some thoughts on the matter. I think it's very important for us to clear out any blocks we have or fears on a subconscious level to this whole thing, because we can set ourselves up to being very, very vulnerable to psychic attacks just because we're afraid of them. And it's very important to clear our subconscious on those issues as well. And so fear draws that negative energy to us. We don't want to have fear. So that's one of the first things we can do, is clear out the fear. The other thing I do is my spirituality is very important to me. So I just go right to source. I just ask God to protect me in everything that I'm doing. I don't usually go to other beings or visualize light coming around me and that kind of thing. I just trust that God is protecting me. Have to admit, though, if I do get nervous about something, I might call in an extra here or there. But mostly I just connect to the source.
Mm. And when you say, like, maybe I'm going to ask a metaphysical question right now, you know, but I wonder about fear, you know, because I know that you have also a background as a psychotherapist. So what is the definition or your perception of what is fear about and why, and what is the function of fear?
Fear is like the absence of love.
Ah.
Are we choosing love or are we choosing fear? I stole that phrase from a book I read. I can't remember the name of it. But that's resonated with me most of my life. And so I see fear being kind of connected to the dark side and love connected to the light. And so, and I just connect to source and love. So that's my choice that I make.
Mm. That sounds to be an appropriate choice, or like a pleasant choice.
So as soon as I start to feel that fear is coming up in me, I remind myself of that, and I shift my focus back to love and light and my connection to Creator. Because if we start to fear, we start to disconnect from Creator or God, then that's when we can start to get into some difficult situations.
So when you say when you feel fear, you just connect back with
Yes.
the soul.
Yes. Yes.
And when you do that, is your blockage or what create this fear never come back, or it's kind of like, do you work also on your inconscious when you do that yourself?
I'm not sure I fully understand the question, but I'll try to answer it. Yeah, the thing is when you clear out your fear on a subconscious level, it doesn't come back unless you've had another scary experience. So generally, when you clear something on a subconscious level, that's a permanent thing. Most of the time, it doesn't come back. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that was my question. I was wondering if you could do that to yourself, you know, because some people argue that to work on yourself, it's harder because it's kind of like working with your own filter. And sometimes you need the outside, which some people say, no, you don't need. So I was wondering your opinion about
Yeah,
dealing with your own.
let me just put a clarity on that. That's, I think, a very good question, because when you're doing something like psych-k, most people aren't aware of the fact that, but there's a whole council of beings that are supporting the work on another dimension. So you're not doing it alone. You have angels and other beings that are there with you that are helping you clear that out. And so the thought that you're doing this alone is a limiting belief in itself. And that's a good thing to clear out. The thought that you can't do it on your own is a limiting belief, and you can clear that out. If you have that thought on a subconscious level, that I can't do this on my own, you won't be able to do it on your own. That's how powerful we are as creators.
Yes, that was also my my vision on that. I was thinking maybe this is also a belief system, and that makes me wonder what is the limit, or is there any reality? You know, if there's only belief system.
Yes, that's correct. That's a very good question. There is reality. It's the reality you create. So what do you want to create?
Yeah, it's a good question. What is your vision about? I don't know if it's in your field of perception or discussion of the general evolution of humanity, and what do you think is necessary to develop and be more aware of in the coming years for everyone?
I believe that everything is perfect. Everything is part of the divine. I do believe that we are going through a process of transition as humanity, that we are moving into what some people refer to as a golden age. We're moving into a beautiful age where we're starting to remember our beauty and our power and take ownership in it. And even though there seems like there's a lot of negative happening in the world, there's a lot of positive happening in the world at the same time. We just have to choose which path we want to take. Where do we put our focus? I'm very clear where I want to put mine. So a lot of people who are sensitive are really feeling those powerful energies coming into the world right now. It's our time to open up and make the most of our lives. Yeah, and realize our greatness.
That sounds to be a good direction. I agree. We're coming. We have 15 minutes left. So I was wondering, you know, earlier I mentioned that you might share with us some tools, some tips to be able to connect with more outcome in our life, you know, with more abundance, let's say more money.
Yes. I would propose that anybody who's listening to this to actually get a pen and paper so they can write these down, these instructions, in case they're interested. So the first method that has made quite a difference in my life is something that was shared, and it can by a person by the name of Tom Moore, M-O-O-R-E, and he wrote a book called The Gentle Way. He has more than one book; he has several. and he has a website and so on. You can check him out. This particular technique, I guess, has been around for a very long time, and it's called the most benevolent outcome. And this is how you do it. This is the wording. You say it out loud because your angels are ready and willing and able to help you, but you have to say it out loud, according to Tom Moore, and I believe him. So the statement is, I request a most benevolent outcome for, so I'll give you a second to write that down. I request a most benevolent outcome for, and then put a line next to that, or a couple of lines, because you're going to fill in the blank. And then when you're done clarifying what you want the most benevolent outcome for, you're going to add, and may the benefits be even more than I expect or can anticipate. And then you say, thank you from your heart. Gratitude is very important.
So you say thank you from your heart?
From your heart. Just, say thank you, emotionally from your heart. So I'm going to give you an example of what a most benevolent outcome would sound like. I request the most benevolent outcome for this global psychic healing network interview, and may the benefits be even more than I can expect or anticipate. Thank you. So you can use this, that's all you have to do. You can use this for parking space. You can use it to find a mate. You can use it for just about anything. And believe me, I've had some pretty amazing experiences as a result of that.
Wow. And so you do that every day at the same time, or what is the ritual, and for how long till you get?
You can do that anytime you want, and there's no ritual. It's if you get good at it, you get in the habit of doing it all the time. I request the most benevolent outcome for my supper tonight, and or whatever, and just whatever it is. Now I have to put a caveat on that. The most benevolent outcome may not be what we expect. It's going to be what's in everybody's highest good. It can't be just in yours. It's going to be in everybody's highest good. So you may be thinking something negative about somebody, and you want them to die or something like that. That's not going to work. A most benevolent outcome might surprise you. You might end up getting a better relationship with that person you didn't like, instead of the opposite, them going away or leaving you. So I just mentioned that. You don't know exactly what that most benevolent outcome is going to be. God, source, is really making that decision about what that is.
Great, thank you for this tool. That's we'll start to practice for sure.
Yes. The next tool is also another amazing tool. I learned from somebody by the name of Jean Foster, and she uses the term team up as just a phrase to identify this process. You're actually teaming up with the White Brotherhood in this case, and Source. So this is how it works. I use this for teaming up with other people's higher self and unconscious mind. And I use it to improve my relationship with other people, or to allow for a better outcome with other people. It can be one person, or it can be a group of people, and it's got to be in everybody's highest good. So this is how it goes. You close your eyes. You can do this silently. You don't have to do it out loud. But you ask to team up with your higher self and unconscious mind. Then you ask to team up with God or Source. And then you ask for God to assist you in teaming up with that person or those people that you want to team up with. And you ask to team up with their higher self and unconscious mind. So if you think about it, this is like a meeting. You're now having a meeting between your higher self and unconscious mind, God, and the people that you're wanting to team up with, their higher self and unconscious mind. And this is really beautiful because you're really rising above this level of existence. Albert Einstein said you can't solve a problem by the same level it was created on. So you're really rising to a higher level. And when you're in this meeting, this is what you do. You state your intention. Your intention may be, my intention is I want to get along better with somebody, or I want us to all agree what the highest good is in our relationship, or I want us all to agree what's the best outcome for our partnership in this business, whatever it is. So you state your intention. And then you just give it a minute. It doesn't take long, or even a few seconds, because they work pretty fast up there. And we work really fast on our subconscious level. So once you've given it some silence, then you ask for a plan to be created to put this into place. Again, you give it a few moments of silence, and then you ask for all those involved in this meeting to agree to play their part perfectly in carrying out this plan. And then you just say thank you from the bottom of your heart again. And you ask to be disconnected from everybody in this meeting. And that's the end. So, do you have any questions about that? Was I clear enough on that?
Yes, for me it was clear. Just at the beginning, it's like you ask to be team with people that you know.
It doesn't have to be people that you know. It can be, you can ask God to help you team up with anybody related to this particular problem or challenge. So yes, it's pretty cool. You don't even have to know who those people are. An example of somebody did recently with me was they were having to go to school on a meeting about their son, and they were very afraid that the school staff and board members were going to give them a hard time and not cooperate in terms of what was in the best interest of their child going to this meeting. So they teamed up with the higher selves and unconscious minds of everybody who was going to be in that meeting, even though they didn't know who everybody was going to be. And they did that whole process. They stated their intent and asked for the plan to be put into place.
And you need to do that just once?
You just do it once.
That's good. Okay. Very practical.
Yes, it is. I've had amazing experiences with that. So amazing that there's no coincidence.
Great. Thank you for sharing those two tools. I think it's like it's great. One is to have to be done on the daily basis or whatever, and one is really to focus on some special things. So it's very, very useful. I wonder if you have you want to talk about something we haven't talked yet, or you would like to mention before we finish the interview?
Yes, I think it's important that everybody realize that we're all very powerful beings. So it's just a matter of discovering that in ourselves. I've noticed that some people want to give their power over to me, and that's not a good thing. I would not be doing my job if I allowed that to happen. I'm here to help people clear out their own blocks so that they can discover their own power. Yeah, so that's important.
Wow, it's like yeah, it seems that you're very, very ethical. It's a pleasure to exchange with you and to see how professional and efficient you are in your practice.
I think one of the things that's helped me in what I'm doing now is the fact that I've been a therapist for a lot of years, over 35 years. I've worked with many different types of people with many types of mental health challenges, and I'm quite comfortable working with people who have a lot of those deep issues, you know, whether they're suicidal or very depressed or very anxious or very stuck in any way. You know, I feel comfortable doing that. However, now that I said that, if somebody is feeling suicidal right now, I encourage them to get to the nearest hospital and get some help. I don't want to encourage people to call me up because they're suicidal, but I am comfortable working with people who have those kinds of challenges, and that's helped me a lot in what I do now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's good for people who come to see you to see someone that experience in traumatic issue, and to have like this background of therapists that I can hear in the way you talk that you're very, yeah, you're paying attention to bring back responsibility to the people and to bring them back their power.
That's correct.
Yeah. Great. Thank you very much to have spent time with me to discuss about your work. If people want to take an appointment with you, they can find you on your website.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's riseabovetrauma.com or ronschlegel.com. You can get there either way, whichever one works for your memory. Because my last name isn't the easiest to spell. Rise Above Trauma is a little bit easier to remember. And, you know, I offer that 30-minute guarantee. If you're not satisfied within the first 30 minutes, you know, I'll gladly give you your money back. I used to give a 30-minute free consultation, but I got too busy, so I can't keep doing that. However, I will make sure that people are satisfied with their work.
Great, thank you. I'm sure they will. Thank you very much, and well, I'll talk to you maybe another time on the TV too.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Nice meeting you.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.